brain
as
power.
that sound means we do have a draft, gentlemen.
I'd say best of 5, like 100%. I feel like I haven't watched a best of 5 where the weaker team won. Like going
Ever?
into like TI finals, like the team that seemed to have the magic spark always won the best of 5.
Okay.
5 seconds remaining.
I mean,
Producer's bringing up a very sore
yeah,
subject.
Wings and Digital Chaos. I feel like Digital Chaos should have taken that one, so I guess that's an exception.
You know, because the producer said that we're going to not talk about the draft for a minute, I'm going to rant a little bit. Not rant, but fill you guys in on some
I'm
information.
gonna give myself some energy.
Yeah, very good.
Sugar freeze left.
DC actually played Wings more than any other team during that summer prior to TI.
Yeah,
prior to TI,
we're listening.
and we beat them consistently.
Is there sugar free?
And there was one day where we had a best of 5 versus them, and we beat them 3-1. But they actually quit the game during the scrim. They were so angry, and Jack told us the story of this from the other side. Apparently, they got so angry that they started shouting at each other and all that, and that is when it all turned around for Wings. So if you want to think about it that way,
you guys actually inspired them to beat yourselves.
we were the reason Wings won in more ways than one.
Yeah, I was about to say in more ways than one. Wow.
That's right.
Wow.
So on to the draft we go. Viking.gg versus Team Liquid. We got the Slardar Lone Druid band, so Koikvik is going to be very sad about the Lone Druid especially. And then Lena and Void on the other side. So Io first pick. Again, some heroes that we've been seeing a lot lately. Mars comes to mind. Phoenix comes to mind. Anything come to mind for you two?
Snapfire is fairly contested between these two teams, I would say. It is Viking GG's most picked hero overall in their whole existence, and we saw Liquid do a lot with it.
It's interesting that they go for the Oracle. They do pick Oracle a lot. It's one of Insania's favorite heroes for sure, but I don't feel like it specifically is good against Io.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's maybe like blocking. It blocks a lot of heroes, like because of the dispel, the magic.
It does make drafting easier. For sure.
It makes drafting a lot easier for sure. Like disarm versus Sven, for example. I could see why
you can't
teams
disarm Superman.
This is true. This is the
He's
problem.
literally stunning you from
All right.
1200 range.
Again, rant. If we were keeping score, this would be a point for me. Superman is the dumbest hero of all time. Like, why would you create a character that's basically invincible? They had to create Kryptonite later on after they created the hero.
Oh,
to
was
give
that
him-
like an adjustment they made?
It was a balance patch, if you want to call it that. And it's still a stupid one. It's very forced.
Well, what about Dr. New York? Can literally just
Manhattan?
literally just teleport to the moon.
I was about to say Dr. Manhattan.
Dr. New York. That's a new one.
I've never heard
He's
that
the forgotten brother of Dr. Manhattan.
Going back to the
Timbersaw.
draft, I think they had to pick this Timbersaw here because very likely you see they respect Boxy with this Slardar first phase ban. It's going to get second phase ban, almost guaranteed.
Yeah, there's no way
Even
you're getting
Ion is
them
Sven.
Timbersaw, right?
Yeah, there's no way, especially after the performance with this hero yesterday, turning around that best of 3.
This is the enabler for Koikfa, though, right? Because during the game, we talked about the importance of how Timbersaw can just be ignored. And what happened was they did ignore him, and the Visage just walked to his lane like 3 times
You're right.
in a
It's
row.
like it's
and then you just take towers instantly.
it really covers for Timber's issue. It doesn't really hit towers.
Yeah,
can tank him.
I've had my I've been skeptical of Timbersaw as a hero. I've talked about how he feels like just as an offlaner, scalability wise, he sucks. Like that's kind of my opinion. And so you need to get a lot done early on in the game. And Team Liquid, so far from my perspective, has been the team that makes capitalizes best on his timing windows. So I like Timbersaw in their hands because you're expecting it to be this laning stage annoyance for this Io Sven, but that's all it needs to be for them.
Yeah. Agreed.
I like a Leshrac ban maybe from Liquid. They do have Oracle, but generally speaking, I think you want to ban any hero that rotates from the mid lane to be basically killing Timber around the 8 to 10 minute mark.
Do you
That's
think
the best
that
time
I
to
was
do
going
it.
to say, Lesh might not be bad for Liquid either. You could just block pick it. But
Do you think that Bloodseeker will be a hotly contested pick
Nope.
today?
These are good teams in the best-of-5 final.
I believe
Viking-
Liquid played them, and Viking maybe as well.
Viking actually plays Bloodseeker. It's their
Yeah.
second most picked hero this week,
It is not.
and with a 100% win rate.
I mean, would Bloodseeker mid to late game be?
Is that a sugar-free?
Yes.
Yeah, we can talk about that as well if you'd like
Oh,
instead of
sorry.
the draft.
I'm sorry. I just
Would you consider Bloodseeker good against Timbersaw?
yes, excellent. Because of pure damage, he likes to chain around, lots of movement coming in hot.
It
He doesn't
used to
like
be better.
Doesn't like to be silenced. Excuse me, I wasn't done talking. Anyway, I can go on.
It used to be better when you could cue the Timbersaw.
I disagree.
You don't think the old Blood Rage against Timbersaw was
I
better?
like how you look at me when you say
You don't believe that?
Brian, please.
The old Q, you could just make somebody take more damage from all
Please, you're
sources.
embarrassing.
right.
So
Please, Brian.
I'll stop.
So for those that have no idea what this weird interaction is all about, BSJ has just shat all over Bloodseeker this entire event. But he does have, I mean, you have to admit you're very biased.
I am.
You lost the bet as a result, so now
Yes.
you have to random
He's
three
now
heroes
1
in
and
the pub.
6.
That makes it even worse for him, I
What?
think. The bias.
Yes.
The bet, I think it's
Yeah, okay.
gotten far more visceral.
I personally enjoy, like, if I have a view, even if it's really not that extreme of a view, just to really push it, my agenda. I think it makes it more enjoyable for me. And for my case, I would view this as a slightly extreme view just because everyone else seems to love the hero, and I just don't like it. I actually don't. I don't hate it. I just don't like it compared, and everyone else seems to love it. So.
I'm going to have to disagree with you on that one. You definitely hate it.
Well, it's transformed into hate after Jenkins has forced me to explain myself time and time
I
again.
see. Okay.
So I blame Jenkins for that, not Bloodseeker. Bloodseeker is innocent in this equation.
The bloodthirsty maniac is innocent.
Yes.
Never thought I'd
Okay.
hear you say that, actually.
All right.
They
well,
really
Earth
like
Spirit.
Taiga's early rotation position for us with the Timbersaw.
This solves problems with the Timbersaw like you were talking about with the tower push. You also have this hero who's not really a great initiator or fighter. He's not really a do-shit hero, this Timbersaw, and a lot of the time you get that from your offlaner. So picking the Earth Spirit, who basically wants to fight from minute 0, makes up for that.
747 yesterday talked about how 10th pick mid seemed less potent because you had to like sure up the game plan a lot. And I think what teams like Liquid do really well is that, for example, you said the offlaner usually offers this, and they'll sure that problem up right away in the 3rd pick so that their last pick can be much more flexible. They seem to have a recipe, now that I've watched like 5 or 6 of their games this tournament, to set up this exact game plan, and instead of going for, this is interesting, they're actually going for the Storm Spirit 4th. Usually they've been picking Quakefuss hero last in this equation, but they want Mickey to have the win condition basically handed to him. But wait, can Mickey play Storm?
I would assume so.
I think I've seen them do some weird stuff with Storm, so they might be willing to still cheese here.
So when there's a Timbersaw in the game, again, my knowledge is kind of old school in this regard.
Yeah.
I feel like you just don't pick more strength heroes, but they now have
Undying
3.
specifically is pretty good at shutting down Timber really early.
Okay.
Early, but then later it can feel pretty
Yeah,
rough.
so they definitely
Well, that's
need
kind of
to
Undying
address
for
him
every
later.
hero, right?
True. True.
It's even worse on Timbersaw, but early game you can actually zone Timbersaw as a strength hero.
It's 2
which
strength
is,
heroes that you're up against, too.
Yeah.
Not just the Timber. Earth Spirit as well, 2 melee strength heroes.
They can do like IO offlane now, like IO 4 position.
Yeah, with some...
I mean,
With
Mars
some
is
good
still in the
3.
pool, but you're against Storm.
There it
There
is,
it
gentlemen.
is.
I actually am
There
not.
it is.
I'm not surprised by this one. I'm not actually surprised.
Very
Mm.
nice.
I am not surprised.
Are you disappointed?
No, because they banned Lifestealer. It's good against Timbersaw. It's a little weird because it's against Storm Spirit. I think the Storm Spirit, now that I think about it, is actually intentionally, like, I dare you to pick Bloodseeker because it's not good against Storm Spirit.
Mhm.
They definitely Viking needs to pick something that's like some setup for the Blood Right. Like they have no disable for Storm right now.
They are all in on the lanes. They have picked Undying into Timber, which means, you know, the laning stage is great and all, but later sucks, and they have picked Bloodseeker IO. So they are all in on the lanes on Viking GG. I personally don't love all-in lane game plans, but we did see Yellow Submarines won victory yesterday off the tail end of winning all 3 lanes with Viper, Lifestealer, but mainly the Viper 10th pick.
Yeah.
And Liquid does get the final pick, so they can end up countering whatever Viking comes out with.
Oh, Spectre was still in the pool.
We're looking like a mid hero, I assume, for Viking, and then a carry for Liquid.
I love seeing how much of these picks have been set up by the first round bans. Like, you feel much more comfortable picking Storm when you've banned Lina. Even just banning like the Invokers of the world in the second round. You know, they banned Lifestealer to set up the Bloodseeker. So it's just that many more bans you have in the last round so that you can cover your bases. I think that's the foresight required to be top tier teams in drafting.
All right, let's think about a mid hero.
Well, Shrek is not bad.
Was he not banned? No, he was not.
All right, so I always love my Leshrac.
Somehow, it's still still there.
You still don't really have a great disable for Storm.
Yeah,
It's going to be hard to hit.
They banned Zeus.
It's really
with
good for the
Storm
game.
Oracle. Interesting.
Yeah,
I
that
guess
really
with Bloodseeker, they're just scared.
that really does make you think. Like, what is it they want?
Zeus is highly valued in EU too, though.
Sure. Maybe they're setting up for like a TB. PL. Well,
It's weird to me that you ban stuff that you are trying to like protect your last pick with. I don't feel like that's what you're supposed to do. I feel like you just protect what you just picked. Yeah. Because you'll adjust your last pick to whatever they do.
Okay, so they just go with
The lane dominator.
classic.
They are all in on lanes.
Yeah, you'll destroy Storm, and you eventually get an Orchid, which will deal with the Storm.
Right. I was going to bring Quap up because it just feels like every day it ends with, wow, okay, Anti-Mage is going to be the last pick.
Okay. So I think Taiga is going to do some shenanigans where he's going to buy boots or maybe win lace and drag the creeps. And then he's going to say, see ya, Boxy, good luck. And they are going to attempt to dump all over
and that will lead to
anti-mage lane.
Who winning?
I actually think Viking GG will win this game. But we'll know at 5 minutes.
Oh, we'll go with Liquid. I don't think they have great solutions for the AM and Storm.
Okay, the panel is split. Let's take a quick break, and we'll start with game 1 of this best of 5.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Monster Energy Dota Summit Online. I'm ODPixel here with Lacoste, and we're getting ourselves ready for Game 1 of the best of 5 between Team Liquid and Viking GG. Lacoste, we just had the lineups come in. Liquid, they felt that this is the time to get up the old anti-mage. What are your sort of feelings about this?
I feel like it's a great anti-mage and Storm game. As Jenkins said, they don't have enough control. Like, the only stun they have is Sven, and I feel like Viking put themselves in a bad spot, just trying to put everything in the laning stage. You know, Queen of Pain against the Storm Spirit. We're going to have this Bloodseeker and Io paired up together. But I'm a bit worried about, like, Io Undying as 2 supports, where if things are not going well, if they come out of the laning stage even, like, you're not going to be able to make any kind of moves, like aggressive ones. Also, if Queen of Pain is not having a good time, like, I've seen this matchup multiple times, Storm Spirit against Queen of Pain. It can go both ways easily. Like, I've seen Storm Spirit killing Quaps level 3.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think if there's any potential for a Storm to upset a Quap in the mid lane as well, it's going to be Quake for Storm. A man that's almost certainly played this matchup many times before. So we'll see what he's able to do, or if Boom is able to outplay him and have that edge in the lane. Looking at the setups, yeah, we're indeed going to have this Bloodseeker IO lane into the face of Mickey. Celery is going to be heading up top to support Shad against the offlane Timber. Boxy backed up by Tiger's Earth Spirit. See down bottom as well, Mickey, very prepared for sort of harassment in this lane.
Yeah.
He's starting with the 4 branches, 9 tangos. He's got a whole lot of regen for this lane.
I mean, he understands that they need to just sustain throughout this lane. I think they're going to get the kills. Bloodseeker, very strong laner. And judging by the items, I see Taiga with the Boots of Speed. So that means he wants to drag the second creep wave behind the tower, deny the whole creep wave, get himself to level 2, and then possibly leave a Timber Saw so that he gets the solo levels. And that's exactly what he's doing right now.
Sure, because this top lane as a Timber against this Undying Sven, it's not really a lane where you're going to have any chance of bullying the Sven early, right?
No, that's why he took the Timber Chain.
Yeah.
There are a couple of heroes in the game who can match up against the Timber Soul level 1. Undying is probably the best hero in the game where, you know, it's just a rough time for him.
So far as well, looking over to the mid lane, Quakefoot having a very solid start in the first few waves here. So he's able to hold the wave underneath the tower and having no trouble at all. Over here by the creeps meeting between the towers, Celery just continuing to be a bit of a nuisance here to Tiger. See if he can mess with some of the CS underneath the tower and up top. Foxy getting a bit of an opportunity to get in onto Shad, but Shad of course with regen himself, start with the Ring of Regen and 4 tangos to go. It's bottom lane. And second here, Mickey able to burn all of Toby's mana. And actually, they've got a solid route here. Toby getting pretty low. They'll turn over towards Mickey. As the blink up, Toby able to play low with the backup of Aramis. Coming in with that tether. But now the two of them, how are they doing for regen? That's their last salve. On top of that, just a shared tango. So far, Liquid doing all right in sort of the war of attrition down here.
Yeah, once Anti-Mage gets that Ring of Health, he's gonna be fine, like any kind of harassment, and once Oracle starts to get the levels, those are her way of dispelling the Bloodseeker's silence. How's mid doing? Yeah. In this matchup, feels like Storm Spirit just getting on top. Does not have a point in Vortex. He'll get it on level 4 then. Most of the time I see Storm Spirit just getting 1-1-1 build when they play against the
Clock. Yeah, here we go. He's got the point, and nearly gets the kill there. Boom's going to try and turn Fairy Fire.
He doesn't know that.
Yeah, Boom very, very low there as well. He will now hit the level 4 so he can put the point over into it, but both mids, they're battling to the death. You can have a rotation coming in from Tiger, but it's spotted out by the ward. Will get taken out by Tiger. Boom's got to be careful still, as Tiger is going to look for the angle, and he's in. I mean, Boom, he's able to play away with the blink. He won't go down. He's able to keep himself alive down to that last tango. Celery able to sweep around for the river and pick up Tiger's courier on the way over to mid.
Also Celery bringing a healing cell, so there's going to be easy regeneration from Queen of Pain. Also bringing up the bottle for herself. Rune spawning in 30 seconds, so we're going to see like at least 2 heroes rotating to try to secure the bottle for the mid laners. And with that rotation, that also leaves Boxy on Timbersaw, top solo, which is exactly what they want.
Bottom, Tiger, he's able to help out there. Insania with the setup onto Aramis. The 3 of them collapsing onto the Io and get themselves first blood for Mickey, and that'll be that all-important first little item picked up. The Ring of Hell's done, and now Mickey, as you say, he should be pretty solid down here, particularly with an Oracle backing him up. It's going to be really hard for Viking to fully push this AM out of lane now.
If this was a pub game, AM gets the first blood, people on the enemy team, someone says, please end, I don't want to play anymore. You know, and
which would it be? Stereotypically, which of the players on Viking, if you look at the heroes, which of these heroes is the guy? Oh, it's the Quap now, isn't it?
Yeah, like you guys are not playing the off lane well. They just ganked me. Where's my support? No
AM got first blood. Yeah, Quap won't be happy. So Liquid now, with a couple of kills to start things off here. Quite for getting that good beginning, and with the robe, he's gonna try and get that Orchid done as quickly as he can. By the looks of it. And I guess it's just the thing, right? For Vikings heroes, you look at their supports, for example. It's a lot harder for them to sort of make moves around the map, right? Sure, the Undying very strong in the lane, but compared to what Tiger's able to do in this early game, it's very hard for Viking to match that.
That's the issues. I never like 2 supports, 2 defensive supports mid lane.
Tiger. Oh, very close there, Boom.
Yeah, Tiger's playing this extremely well. He was making all the right rotations, coming to the mid lane, now TPing to the mid lane, refilling the bottle from the Storm Spirit, securing the runes. There's still a bounty rune. He's picking it out if Storm wants to pick it up, and staying out of XP range so Storm Spirit can get level 6 and have more kill potential on Queen of Pain. They already killed her, so they know she's not going to be level 6 as soon as Storm Spirit.
Celery to get over. Yeah, grab that. For not quite able to find the setup onto mid. Tiger still hovering around, but it is all underneath this ward from Viking GG, so Boom fully aware that Tiger's looking for action still around this mid lane. So can expect to see him play it rather safe. Haste rune to spawn. Quake's should be able to grab that for himself if he checked. They're actually going to look to try and dive in onto Boom in. Straight away, Tiger, again, just finding these angles. Even though they do have sort of wall coverage up towards the top side of the mid lane, he's playing around it, Tiger. He's moving into these areas where Boom's just not ready for the Earth Spirit to come in from.
Yeah, having Timbersaw as your offlaner allows you to do that because you want to leave him some solo XP, and he's about to hit level 6. Is not really threatened at all by Sven. And who's gonna be on the top lane? Because at the moment, Sven just wants to jungle. Like, he gets his item, whether he goes for Mom, whether he gets phase boots in the hand of Midas, and someone needs to be on the top lane just to collect the XP. But which hero is that gonna be? Like, you send a strength hero on top with no escape mechanism, he's gonna die.
I just feel a bit awkward, and I've seen this so many times now. Boxy Timber, just one of the player hero combinations that feels like recently has had so many games where he just ends up never dying. They're very good at Liquid at picking this Timber in scenarios where Boxy's just able to have such a free game as it goes on. And this game he's having that sort of start. Definitely going to be a worry down the line. Overall, still even net worth between the two teams, Viking and Liquid. But definitely yet to see what sort of moves Viking's going to be able to make, especially with Boom being shut down here early on, and also 7.5 minutes in, he's on the verge of losing this mid tower as Viking not really having their heroes to come in and be able to do anything about this, just having these early towers being taken away from them.
No counterplay. They have no stuns. They have one stun, one silence from Bloodseeker, and they have no setup. I mean, they're playing aggressively on the bottom lane, but it's also a defensive support Oracle who can take care of AM. He's level 6, has that ring, just going straight into Battle Fury. No shenanigans. I do not want to buy a single item, just straight up Battle Fury. And meanwhile, on the top, like I talked about how someone needs to get the XP on the top lane. Celery is collecting the XP, but hiding in the fog because he knows he just straight up dies.
Yeah, he's got to be careful how he pokes over to this. I mean, he's going to show himself. Boxy is going to quickly scare away the Undying. Celery's going to lay down the tombstone. Boxy might still have this here if he's able to land another combo with the chakra. And, well, there it is pretty much. Celery, he's going to go down. I mean, you said it. He didn't seem to know it. Celery couldn't show himself. He did show himself, and he died, just like as you said he would.
I mean, the only thing he can do is just stay there, collect XP. This way he fed some gold. Timbersaw will still pressure the tower. They don't have a hero that can contest Timbersaw at the moment. They have, I mean, Bloodseeker's good, but he's out of mana on the bottom lane. He can't make a TP rotation unless he goes back or just gets like Clarity and Mango and then TP top. But they also need someone to stun him because he can just TP out. The only one that has a cancel TP ability is Sven, and he's in jungle.
Yeah,
like considering how bad the lanes went for Viking, like they're still in the lead because they made some stacks for Sven, but it's gonna be a sick timing on this Storm Spirit Orchid. He got the last hit on the tower. Queen of Pain also going for Orchid from what I see. Did not buy anything yet. Do good items. Drop for Storm Spirit. Gonna keep Arcane Ring, some extra intelligence, damage, and armor.
Yeah, I mean, Shad he's definitely going to be farmed this game. Midas, good timing, top of the net worth. But I do feel like he's going to have to do a pretty big job carrying this one. As it feels like this Storm, this Anti-Mage, this Timber, heroes that if they don't get sort of punished early on, really can become quite an issue. Just none of them have been punished. They're all having a very free start. And yeah, Mickey just 500 gold away from having a Battle Fury. As you said, sure, it's a naked Battle Fury, no treads. But it is going to be a very, very quick one.
It's going to be a sick timing on the Battle Fury. Also on the top lane, Boxy managed to bring down the tower. And what I like about Team Liquid is their understanding of the timings, what items certain people need to do if the game is progressing in this way. Boxy was having a good time on the top. He's getting mech, so they're going to go for men while Anti-Mage is just farm.
Yeah. And do you like that sort of approach when you look at the four-man that the Liquid has outside of the Anti-Mage? Do you think they can sort of do this, take objectives, and it's still not going to be too easy for Viking to fight in, even if they do have a fifth member?
Yeah, I think they are getting more out of the map right now because Vikings lineup is very good at 5-manning, like a lot of sustain, a lot of heals coming out from Io and Undying. They put down the Tombstone. Sven, he's a monster. Like if you compare 2 carries right now, Anti-Mage does not want to join, while Sven will gladly join a team fight whenever there's ult or just go for the tower. And tier 2 tower gone, so 11 minutes in, outpost already taken.
That is an extremely early tier 2 tower. I mean, it definitely feels like, you know, this is part of the plan for Viking, as we've seen with their draft. No interest in trying to defend these things, as they feel that with their lineup they cannot do so. So you know, something a little different. You know, I feel like we're not going to see many teams with many lineups just as sort of part of the game plan allow this much to be taken away from them. But that seems to be okay here for Viking. You know, this is they're keeping the net worth even. And they're choosing not to fight in these situations.
My problem with them is, how do they start a team fight? Like, this is going to be a smoke from them. Timbersaw, he's fairly tanky. With the Rupture, they have enough.
Yeah.
Stun.
But he's out with a TP.
What am I saying? Like, I thought Sven is there with the stun, but he's gone.
And if there's no Sven,
what a gank.
There's no stun.
Gank.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised that they decided to go for it. Like, if Sven doesn't join, like, what's the plan? I'm pretty sure Boxy's smart enough to just TP out. Storm Spirit, Invis, and Orchid are also smoked. So Queen of Pain needs to adjust her item build. Once she saw the fast Orchid, that he's going for it, instantly goes for the Yule Scepter. That's a dead Bloodseeker.
Straight, and they go on the mid lane. Maybe? No, indeed he won't. Aramis comes in with the tether, but the mech actually, I feel, coming in a little late there. Didn't quite give him the healing time. So Toby ends up going down. Liquid getting themselves another kill, and it's still even, but the thing is, when you do look at Vikings' lineup, Lacoste, would you imagine that their plan was to have sort of come out on top of the laning stage? Like, well, were they... You know, is this draft going to do something magical later around this Sven, or should it have accomplished more at this point?
Every single time I see like Sven lineup or PA lineup, it's a lineup that, you know, all it takes is one good fight. You can easily take the Roche. Like Sven is extremely farm right now. Look at the difference between the CIS. They had a lot of stacks. Sven, I mean, he has a free Battle Fury to start with, so can't really compare it, but AM will catch up. But, you know, even without 0 kills, because they don't have many stuns, they can still take a fight. They just need to find the right one.
We'll see soon how much Shad can get done here. Some very, very good item timings. Echo Saber Midas. And an intriguing item queued up by Shad. He's queuing up the Blink Dagger, Lacoste.
They don't have any form of initiation. Your offlaner doesn't provide you anything. Once again, I mean, I can see Chad just typing Kek W EU gank 2 times in a row. That's the problem. Like, you have offlaner that does not have a low cooldown or any kind of stun, and you have 2 supports that can't make aggressive moves. So I think Liquid has a perfect understanding of that, and they're just gonna go for pickoffs. The strength of Viking right now is just 5-manning and sustain.
Bottom again. Aramis just not able to quite save Toby there. Too much damage coming out from Quakefer and Tiger. And yeah, I imagine from sort of Shad's perspective as well, he's going for this Blink Dagger rather than obviously the Aghanims that we are very used to seeing on a Sven. Because if you look at the cores of Liquid, right, Quakefer, he's always able to Ball Lightning if a Stormhammer's coming in. Anti-Mage is able to jump around, use the counter spell. So the only real way he's actually able to get on top of them is to blink next to them and instantly throw out a stun.
It's a big kill.
Yeah, they get the Storm, they'll get Tiger as well by the looks of it. He's trying to bring down Aramis with him. The magnetizing the urn, it will pop Aramis. But this time Viking, able to hit back and get 2 kills for it. One of them being the big one.
Needed someone to just jump in and make stuff happen. Like Undying Io, they're definitely not the heroes. So I can see why he decided to go for a Blink Dagger in this situation.
Yeah. I guess, I really feel, it's going to allow him to do things that just an Aghanims would not let him do this game.
Toby, like, he's itemizing also correctly in this type of situation where he gets rid of ATOS. It's a good stats for the hero against AM, against the Storm Spirit, even Timber, so like root mechanic, extremely powerful.
see Shad next, just getting that BKB on. Knowing that committing with the BKB, he's going to be very safe. It's going to be very hard for Liquid to kill this Sven.
Yeah, they have zero abilities that go through Magic Immunity on the side of Team Liquid.
So already Viking, they're in. Jump forward from Shad, finds Insania. Going to be able to continue to do this. Some good moves here from Viking around the Sven. Really starting to use Shad's power. Now quite from the side. Look at the Celery. Boxy coming across. Aramis in with a heal. The Celery is back up to fighting shape as he can stand his ground. Shad trying to run out for more. Stun down onto Boxy. Boxy, he'll cut himself away from the Timber Chain. They won't be able to go any further in onto it. Boxy just a little too tanky right now, even for Shad during the God Strength. Not quite the damage to bite through this Timber.
The problem for Liquid is they took Tier 2 tower 11 minutes in. Now they don't have a Tier 2 tower to take on top.
Sure, yeah, it's like they've done the
Rich
objective
people
so quickly.
problems.
Yeah, it's like, wow, there's nothing to take up there. I mean, how's Mickey's farm, of course, still looking very well. I mean, again, for Liquid, it really is the fact that all three of their cores are split up. They're progressing. We'll see if Vikings are able to punish any of this. They're looking towards Mickey top, but just a pretty impossible catch. Nothing really to do if Shad's not around. He's their everything right now, this Sven.
Courier died, but Manta style recipe already delivered, so 1,000 gold away from Manta style from Mickey. Also does not have a neutral item yet. Doesn't care too much. Finally decides to pick up Vampire Fangs.
That's what Vikings' plan is here. They're grouping up once more. Celery has got a smoke at the ready. But by the looks of it, just trying to get that BKB recipe picked up. So Shad, he's going to have that ready to go for the next move that they do try and make around the map. Boxy down bottom, putting some pressure onto the tier 1. And he's going to start making his way towards probably the Lotus.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Does it bother you, Owen, that like Vambrace is called like Brace as a bracer when it's on strength, but when you change it to agility or like intelligence, it's not called Vamnull?
Radiant's middle tower is under
I've never
attack.
thought of that.
Well, it kind of bothers me.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. Yeah, screw you, Lacoste. Now I'm going to
Okay, okay, you can think of
yeah,
name for Vambrace when it's on
what?
agility. Give me a name.
Vamble skin. Here we go, Toby. He's got the tether coming in from Aramis. Heal up there, but Toby's still dying. With Onyukum down with the Purifying Flames, Boxy, he's ruptured. He doesn't really care too much, though. He's got so much regen going right now on the Timbersaw. Just sort of waltzing about. No cares in the world. Another attempt to move there from Viking, but this one not resulting in any action. As bases continue to be made for this anti-mage, they're able to again get these 2 outposts. 20 minutes in, Viking aren't going to get that little bit of an XP bonus. They're looking towards the Timber mid. Still very hard to go in onto Boxy. Having a bit of a poke, especially with Insania backing him up. There's just no way that Viking can jump on him. They've got to try and get around the backlines.
They saw that smoke. This board revealing it.
I mean, Viking,
Let's see the positioning. I mean, AM will join a fight, try to clean things up with the mana void, especially on the high mana targets like Queen of Pain. She does have a defensive item, Yules, but if that's used already once like Storm jumps on her, if there's any kind of like silence, like she needs to be very careful.
I mean, and the lead is starting to show now. There's 4k advantage for Liquid, just the sort of passiveness of this game. The 3 cores of Liquid are more than happy to play into. Timber, Anti-Mage, and Storm farming away. Whilst for Viking, it really is just Shad that sort of has the power right now. The other cores starting to fall down a bit. Tiger, he's going to go for the TP out, and I mean, he gets away every time. Shad not quite able to make it there in time, as a TP scroll is all that's needed, really, to counter Vikings' lineup yet again.
Yeah, I mean, if they use Yule Scepter to start a fight, to cancel the roll, you know, you don't have any abilities.
Yeah.
Bloodseeker has Road of Aethas, so they need to either bring Bloodseeker or bring Sven. Man, this game, it's very bad for Viking. Just try to delay it because Liquid, they have much better late game with the Storm Spirit. Also, if you look at the cores, like they're gonna scale, especially the Earth Spirit. He has a full Spirit Vessel and straight up BKB. Like he knows what he's going for, farming the jungle at the moment.
And yeah, I mean, yeah, you can see for Shad, he just feels that they need so much more in terms of lockdown. He was going to go for the dailies. He's like, nah, screw that. I'm just going to get the Basher ASAP. As they need that extra bit of interrupt against these constant escapes that Liquid's heroes are being able to make. Tiger able to roll away, and Quake's able to zip away. Quick silence with the Orchid, and nothing to stop these two just getting out of there. I mean, and that really is the thing, again, to sort of consider. It's Storm, Anti-Mage, Timbersaw, and Earthspirit. 4 heroes with incredibly high mobility, and Viking just not nearly enough answers to deal with that.
Boxy does not care about the Rupture. He's walking.
They're trying to chase it. Insania's still got a false promise if Boxy's really threatened. So I don't think Boxy's going to care too much. Maybe with the Sonic Wave coming in, but there we had the promise. The save comes through. Quite zips over towards Toby. Toby able to run over towards the side, getting himself away. Shad trying to come up with the BKB onto the Timber, so he's going to turn over towards Quakefer. Gets the stun out. Quakefer will go down. They get the Storm over to Tiger. Shad will be able to get a second. Double kill for the Sven.
That's definitely not the target that they need to go for. Like Timbersaw, he wants them to go on him, but Anti-Mage is still not ready to man fight against AM, against this super farm Sven, who has a Basher and he has an Imp Claw, building that Thistle Blade that you mentioned just for some extra lockdown. But once he gets like a Scotty, tanks up a bit, then he's ready to go.
I mean, Vikings sweeping over. Let me see if they can catch the AM. Booms around, but nothing he can do on his own to set up. Mickey able to just continue to freely roam this area of the map. 700 gold away from Scardy.
What do you think about the Basher build on Sven, who doesn't have that much attack speed? It sounds kind of bad, but IO giving you attack speed 140 during the overcharge.
Yeah.
This is where the bashes are going to come from. Also, if Bloodseeker uses Blood Rage, it's a hell of a lot of attack speed.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, yeah, for Shad, he needs that. He just has to sort of do everything right now, this Sven. And getting this Abyssal online as soon as he can will allow himself to have that strong initiation. Up in the jungle, Tiger. Found Celery. Celery is going to lay down the tombstone, able to block off the roll and buy time for Shad to blink in and get on top of the Earth Spirit. Tiger's taken out. The rest of Liquid split and get out of it.
This is Vikings timing. They need to make stuff happen. Like right now, Sven much stronger than AM. He's very close to that Abyssal Blade, just 1,000 gold away. He can have it in a minute. Midas also ready. Will hit level 20, lower the cooldown on the Storm Hammer so he can be more maneuverable. Doesn't have an Aghanim Scepter, but you know, still lower cooldown against all these mobile heroes means a lot. Storm Spirit finishing Bloodstone, so he's gonna have a sort of save for himself if he drops low, and also great synergy with the False Promise.
Still feels tough though for Viking. Smoke coming out from Liquid.
Is under attack.
I mean, sort of with the position this game's in right now, 25 minutes and 8-6, 4K lead for Liquid. I mean, which of the carries is going to have an easier time carrying this game to a victory in your eyes? Is it going to be the Shad Sven or the Mickey AM?
Room is gone. To go back to your question, it really depends. Also, Roche, the first one, didn't die, so whichever carry gets it. Also, Sven is not really a good Aegis carrier compared to like Storm Spirit and AM, and seems like Mickey does not feel comfortable just joining fights and fighting against AM, so he wants his Abyssal Blade. Once that Basher is up, they don't necessarily need to like jump Sven. All they need to do is kite with all their healing and the sustain coming out from Oracle. They can kill him last. Like, they need to get rid of the IO, they need to get rid of the Undying and possibly Queen of Pain. I don't think they care too much about the Bloodseeker. Bloodseeker does not have a clear target to go with the Rupture. Like, it's very hard against the AM, might just use the counter spell. Also, with the Blink range talent, can blink out of the range and not get any damage. Storm Spirit, also not the target that you want to go for. Possibly, like, a good target would be Earth Spirit.
Radiant are scanning.
Yeah, probably would be at least, because then, you know, you may be forcing Insania to use some of his defensive spells on Tiger, and if he doesn't, you know, Tiger's going to be sort of left in a position where he's just not able to have this mobility around the fight without risking his own life. That's it. Both this mid and bottom lane getting pushed right up to the base of Viking.
They wanted to go Roche, but they need to defend this tower. AM just pushing.
Really forcing them back. Viking's going to try and sweep round from the side, making this move back over from the Roshan pit. The smoke, see what sort of a catch they can find. Quaker just checking out the Roche situation. They do see Boxy under the ward, but Boxy, of course, such a hard target for Viking to commit on. As Viking, they're going to see if they can find either Quaker or an Insania over here. See if Shad can get the jump. He's popping the God Strength. He's in straight away with the Abyssal. The stun follow-up, but Insania's there with the save. Immediate false promise. Quake's going to be fine. And now Liquid, they're trying to turn. They're going to look to go straight over towards the IO. Mickey's on top of him, takes him out. Tiger will fall. BKB up on Shad as he stands his ground, looks over towards Mickey, but he's been disarmed by Insania. The Sonic Wave comes out. Boxy getting low, but he's able to back off into the trees. They do still finish him, though. With the burst from the screen, they get the kill. Mickey pops the match. The Mana Void comes down. Mickey's so low, he's able to blink out to the side. Boom, chases, but Mickey, he stands his ground. The cleave ends up killing off Toby. Mickey holds his ground, and it's a team wipe. Viking all dead. Mickey and Quaker stay alive.
He was waiting for that big mana void moment. Queen of Pain was almost completely out of mana. Look at her mana pool, 100 mana, and he used it while 3 heroes were around. Also, Paladin Sword, giving him enough lifesteal to actually survive and being able to just right-click and lifesteal off of it.
Okay, doing big things there. Coming in. You know, he'd been playing it easy, he's been hitting creeps. He finally decided it was time to turn up to the action, and he turns up big time. Comes into the fight, cleans up, doesn't die. 3-0-3, and that's going to pretty much give him the money for a full Abyssal, at least very close to it. Here as they'll now look over the Roche. Yeah.
How Mickey played this game kind of reminds me when I play with you, Owen. Like, I don't see you for 25 minutes, then you show up, get a rampage, and we win a game.
Well, that's very kind of you, Lacoste. I think it's normally the other team that gets the rampage when I show up. As here we go, Mickey and Quaker. I'll get the Aegis. They're going to take it on Mickey, interestingly enough. I mean, you know, obviously Storm a bit of a dream Aegis carrier, but I guess right now they feel that, you know, this AM alone will just carry the game. As long as Mickey doesn't throw, doesn't feed, this AM should be a pretty solid bet to just put all their resources on.
Now he has a full Abyssal Blade done, so that's going to be an easy setup for him. Can easily use it on Sven during the BKB timing. There's a 4-level difference. AM just hit level 25, while Sven is only level 21.
Mickey is in on the back line straight away on. So boom, over to Aramis. I mean, Liquid, they're just cleaning up the fights right now. Shad, he's able to find Insania, but now he's been completely isolated. His BKB unavailable. As, yeah, they call it. They call it. There's no win in this game right now. It's absolutely over. As Liquid, well, they'll take game one. Viking, it just seemed like a hard game for them, right, with the draft that they had. Everything was on the Sven. Outside of Shad, they didn't really have any way to make any sort of plays this game, Lacoste.
I think this game is a lot how the draft went, where they put themselves in a spot where it's hard for them to play Dota. Like, having IO and Undying is fine if you have an offlaner with a low cooldown stun, something like a Sanking that can control the people, that has a way of starting a team fight or just getting the ganks going. But it never happened. Like, I think they had the idea, if somehow they managed to like catch people outside of position, get a kill or two, it could open up the Roche for them. But this is, you know, when we see a lineup and say it's an easy Dota to play, this was quite the opposite what Viking drafted.
Yeah, no, it seemed an incredibly difficult game for Viking, and Yeah, as we saw at the end of it all, that anti-mage pick coming in last. A hero we do see pick sometimes to not great success, but this one was a textbook example of when it was a really good anti-mage game. Mickey just having the whole game to farm and ending it 5-0-4 on the anti-mage. A nice, clean, no deaths performance from him, ending with some juicy XPM numbers there as well. 1,000 XPM on the anti-mage, very nicely done from Mickey. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Game 1 of the best of 5 going to Team Liquid here at the Monster Energy Dota Summit.